Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com. Let's talk about this upcoming fight at 154 between Paul Williams and Kermit Cintron. Quite frankly, when I have a take, I give it to you. But on this fight, I don't have one because I believe this fight is too close to call. If I were you, I would watch the fight because it's a great fight. But unless you feel that you have an edge on the casino, in other words, unless you feel that you have special insight into what's going to happen, I would stay on the sidelines. One of the biggest rules in gambling is to know when to say when. Don't hop in the ring on a fight if you don't have a good read on who's going to win it. The reason I'm making this video is just to point out a few things that fight fans should consider in betting on the fight and also in watching the fight. Kermit Cintron lost to Antonio Margarito twice. But if you look at the films of the fight, in particular the second fight, you're going to see that whereas Margarito took apart Miguel Cotto's head and face, you'll notice that here Margarito feasted on Cintron's body. He got inside. Margarito does throw a mean upper hook and did throw an occasional punch up top on Cintron's head, but I thought the real damage were Margarito's hooks to Cintron's body. Now, in boxing, more people are involved in a fight than the two fighters. And Cintron, after replacing a great trainer, Emmanuel Stewart, with Ronnie Shields, has literally changed his game, and quite frankly, it's breathtaking. Because Cintron, again, whose nickname was the Killer because he was a big-time knockout puncher, literally has come up with a way to create distance between himself and his opponent. He does so by leaning his body in and shooting a jab to keep the opponent off of him. More importantly, and this is a bit of a stunner when you're looking at a big-time slugger, Cintron has actually developed great head movement and tactics that allow him to stay outside and to literally be outside the punching range of his opponent. I thought his fight against Alfredo Angulo, who was undefeated at the time, was a masterpiece. And if you look at that fight, Angulo doesn't even get close enough to Cintron to ever really do a job on Cintron's body. And when he does get close, Cintron wisely has new moves. He leans in with his head. He is very skilled at clinching. He even did interesting moves where Angulo closed the distance, had Cintron close to the corner, then Cintron grabbed him and literally moved him back to the middle of the ring. Quite frankly, I have a very hard time believing that the current Kermit Cintron, with Ronnie Shields, a new trainer, um, with his head movement, his jab, and it's a beautiful jab, not just a good jab, it's a beautiful jab. And with his head movement and with his completely different balance, I have a very hard time believing it's the same fighter. Quite frankly, you don't see a fighter reconstruct his style as thoroughly as Kermit Cintron has and as successfully as Kermit Cintron has too often. And this to me is akin to Tim Tebow changing his throwing motion for the upcoming NFL draft. So I'm very impressed by Cintron. I don't believe Paul Williams will be able to get inside and win in the same manner in which Antonio Margarito beat Cintron. And keep in mind, Cintron is the counterpuncher in this fight. Williams is the lead puncher. Cintron, in addition, in my opinion, to having the superior head movement and to being able to work behind a jab, I also believe Cintron is the harder hitter in the fight. I know Williams has a nickname, the Punisher, But Williams is more of a volume puncher. Cintron actually has one punch knockout capability. With his new style, his fights have been going the distance lately, right? The Angulo fight went the distance. His fight against Sergio Martinez went the distance. He doesn't quite have the same pop that he once did, but make no mistake, his punches still carry sting. In the Alfredo Angulo fight, Angulo is kind of like Antonio Margarito light, right? He's a very aggressive fighter, gets in your grill, is constantly hunting you down. Early in that fight, Kermit Cintron hits him with an overhand right hand, and Angulo wisely started being a bit more cautious in coming inside. Power is a beautiful thing in boxing. Now, why am I not picking Cintron to win the fight? Well, that's because of Paul Williams. First, let me say this. Um, Compare and contrast Paul Williams to Kelly Pavlik. You're going to see that even though both guys hop around the ring, right? Williams always has, his feet set up so he can throw his punches. And make no mistake, Williams is a southpaw. And so he'll have that right leg way out in front of that left leg, and he'll hop around the ring. But Williams actually is pretty adept with his feet. And neither fighter in this fight has a foot speed advantage. Williams's volume is singular. The way to beat a seasoned counterpuncher is to inundate him with volume. Williams has done that in fight after fight. I would encourage viewers to take a look at Williams's fight against Winky Wright. The problem is simply you can't counter the number of punches that Paul Williams throws. In other words, as he's throwing more than 100 punches around, counterpunchers find themselves spending their time blocking the punches instead of countering them. In fact, hardcore boxing fans know that Floyd Mayweather Jr., an excellent counterpuncher, actually lost in the Olympics to a lead volume puncher. Because, of course, there, Floyd got caught up in blocking the myriad of punches and couldn't mount his own offense, right? That's what Paul Williams has done to even elite counterpunchers, right? Also, Williams is taller than Cintron, and he fights much taller. Even though the guys are close in height, Williams fights much taller. So with his reach, he can literally get to you from across the ring. And that makes it very hard to do what Sergio Martinez did against Paul Williams, which was use lateral movement to keep Williams off balance. Right? That's very hard to do. I'm not sure if Kermit Cintron has the foot speed advantage that Sergio Martinez had when he fought Paul Williams. So Williams does look more explosive on film, right? He is the more sudden fighter. He seems to be able to go from point A to point B more quickly than Kermit Cintron. But make no mistake, Cintron is the harder puncher. And Cintron is very cagey and very skilled as a fighter. So my advice to you is keep the dollars in your pocket. Don't bet them at the casino on this one, but get your popcorn ready. Get your family together. Get young fight fans in your family who want to see brilliant boxing, because I believe this fight is going to deliver just that. I don't know who's going to win this fight, but I do hope that you enjoy the contrast in styles. And just take a look at whether or not Williams is able to hit Cintron to the body. If you see Williams getting inside and hitting Cintron with regularity to the body, then Kermit is going to have problems. Okay? If you see Kermit on the outside, with Williams unable to land on the body, and if you see Kermit able to actually keep Williams off of him using lateral movement and landing an occasional right hand, right? Williams is a lefty. Cintron is an orthodox fighter. If you see Cintron landing that right hand, understand his right hand is a big punch. Thanks for watching.